Okay, so there are a few main things you want to know about turn-in of your homework. The first thing is that your work week starts on a Wednesday, okay, so after our first meeting, and then ends on the following Wednesday. So you have something due pretty much every Wednesday of the week, and they're due at 8 o'clock in the morning, and you usually are going to post them in two different places. One of them is in your La Lima assignment, and the other one is in your personal course website, okay? And this will be reiterated in the schedule, okay? So the second thing you should know is that there's written critique days. So there's days where you're going to have Skype critiques with me, one-on-one, face-to-face feedback via Skype. And there's going to be other days that are written critiques, okay? So written critiques are going to actually require additional participation of turn-in by 11:55 p.m. on that same Wednesday, okay? So the due date, you turn something in at 8 o'clock in the morning, and either you'll have a face-to-face critique with me or you'll have a written critique that you have to do for your peers by 11:55 p.m. There is another place where we talk about Skype critiques with me, and those are between the hours of 1:30 and 7:30 p.m. on the Wednesdays as well, but those are discussed elsewhere, okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the schedule so that you understand how the turn-in of the work happens. It'll be explained more as you have something that's due. For example, in week 1, okay, you'd go to open up week 1 and you'd get all the different assignments that are going to be assigned that week, okay? Now the first one goes over the assignment, the grade sheet, the student example, okay? And basically what you have to do for homework will be viewed in this video. If there's a corresponding video that reviews the material here, it will be in this area. So you just look at this and how to complete the assignments, all right? Some of them will have a video and others won't if they're pretty self-explanatory, okay? So I just kind of go into video instruction on the ones that require a little bit more explanation, all right? Once you're completed the homework, like the client selection, the creative brief, and the user profiles, and you have your documents, you will be able to go into here where it says see week 1 La Lima assignment for turn-in details, and you'll click on it. And when you come into the assignments page, this is the instructor view, so you can actually see all the assignment. But you as a student will only see the student view, and it'll only be the assignments that are open at that moment. So you would click on one of these here, and in here it's going to tell you when it's due, it'll tell you how many points are available, and then it'll tell you what exactly to do. So posting to your website is one of them. And basically you export the files as PDFs, as separate PDFs. I tell you what to name each file, okay? And then you post them to your personal website. Now that personal website is the one that you create with Chris Gargiulo. He's going to help you create that page, and it basically is the student example. So if you want to take a look at the student examples, for example, if we go here and we go to students, you can see the student example looks something like this, is the page that you'll create. And in week 1, you'd post this, the client selection, creative brief, user profile, for example. The following week, functional specs, sitemap. Okay, so we're going to go back to La Lima. So that's where it's telling you to post your PDFs. And then the other part of the posting is actually in this assignment inside La Lima. And you're going to post the original, like the InDesign document that you're actually working on. Okay, and that's usually all as one file. So even though you work on it as one file, you export the different PDFs as separate pages and post them separately. Okay, and there's a method to the madness. It's basically because I don't have you in class where I can look at your originals and see if you're building things correctly and using the programs the way you're supposed to. When I take a look at your InDesign document, I'm able to see whether or not you're able to operate the program, and part of the goal of the class is to also learn to work in InDesign a little bit more. So, and then the other reason is that sometimes it's easier for me just to grab your file and make edits directly to your file to show you what I'm trying to show you than it is to work with your flattened PDFs, okay? Okay, so those are the two reasons that I want flattened PDFs, easy to view, all your peers can see them from your websites when it comes to critiques, and just so that they can see your progress as well. And then the original InDesign is for me to give you feedback, okay? If you want to take a look at the model answer, you'd go here and it would basically break down what it is that you're turning in. It's basically how your 7 points are broken down and how much you're going to get of credit for each individual portion that you're going to get. So you can look at the model answer. And then in the submission, here is where if you have any questions, you can always type them in here. Like, I don't understand how to do this and this and that, or can you give me feedback in this particular area? You would type that in here. When you're ready to upload your files, you can just hit choose file and you can go and browse for any of your attachments, okay? And then you choose it and and submit it. Don't forget to submit it. If you are still working on the file, you can save a draft, but otherwise make sure you go ahead and submit it, okay? Now, when I receive the assignment, I'm going to go ahead and give you feedback. If it's written feedback week, I would return the assignment to you. You'll get an automated response letting you know that your assignment has been returned, so you'll be able to go in and view it, okay? So you would just click on the assignment again like this, but instead of seeing the submission information, at the very bottom you would see feedback from the instructor or something to that effect, okay? Now those are on the weeks that are written feedback, okay? On the weeks that we have Skype sessions, for instance, if I come here, and it says here Skype feedback between 1:30 and 7:30 p.m. Book a time here. Then that week, for that day on the 21st, Wednesday, you will need to book a time period between 1:30 and 7:30. And what that will do is designate a time when I'm going to give you feedback on what you turned in that morning. Okay? Now on instances like week round 1, I'm still going to meet with you via Skype feedback to give you your own feedback, but you're going to actually have online written critique by peers, and those are the ones that are due in La Lima discussion. So if you click here, these are the ones that you'll have until 11:55 p.m. to work on them, and you'll be able to go in here and take a look at the critiques. So in here, for instance, and you'll be able to take a look at your peers' work and then write the critique, and there's instructions on how to do that in here as well. Okay? All right, so this concludes your lesson on how to turn in your homework. If you have any questions, please be sure to contact me.